Okay, welcome back to video 4 in chapter 3 of the Advanced GIS book. This is the video series looking at national land cover data change through time in the Spanish Fork Watershed. And video 4 is how to understand what has changed over the watershed and try to begin to present that information. So we're going to work on making some map layouts, which include some quantitative data along with it. So I've gone ahead in between the videos and turned those polygons of changed area into, or turns those rasters of changed area from 2004, what it was then, into a polygon, and to 2024 into a polygon. So that's what we're seeing here. What was it and what is it becoming? So this is what it became, and there is diversity in there, but it is definitely dominated by one type of class. And then what it was before was more forest. And so then I've summarized those with some kind of statistics here. So yeah, this is 83% of the changed area became shrub and scrub, it shows us, which is 159.6 square miles of the watershed. And then grassland and herbaceous is the second biggest direction of change, at 13 square miles. But evergreen forest, some of the change became evergreen forest, about 5%. Some became deciduous forest. Some became some open space. After that, not a lot of big stuff. If we look at what it was coming from, of the area that changed, 42% of the loss was to evergreen forest, changing to something else, whereas it only picked up like 5%. So that's pretty significant. Deciduous forest was the other thing, quite a bit lost. Interestingly, shrub and scrub, while it's also the biggest pickup, was a pretty significant site of change, as was grasslands. And, you know, a lot of this has to do with that most of this watershed was pretty non-developed. And so forest, shrub and scrub and grasslands was most of the area. And so we can see that's where things are moving around over those years due to perhaps shifts in climate, and maybe land use, but possibly also kind of invasive things or fires playing a role. All right, so how to begin to visualize this? And so I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to add some different base imagery on here. We do have kind of this background imagery available to us. By the way, you can always, of course, turn that off if it's slowing you down. Maybe you don't have a good internet connection. Then go ahead and just turn off the background stuff and it won't keep reloading it as you move around. It might work better. But we could also, you know, get our elevation and hillshade stuff from another map and bring it in here. I can copy it and paste it in if I want. And then those should be sitting below as my base maps now. So I don't know, maybe the elevation is not going to be helpful, but we can look at the hillshade, which is pretty nondescript, so we can start to visualize where in the landscape those changes are taking place. And we can see that it is in the uplands. Yeah, except for some little changes along the edges of the lowlands down here. But yeah, a lot of the changes, we can see what part of the landscape they're taking place on, and we can see what they're going to. Okay, so I like having kind of maybe a different background than what we had. So let's go ahead and make a layout. We'll go insert, new layout, and I'm actually going to make it landscape. And I'm going to add in this map frame. And I'm going to try to rotate this map frame. How do I do that? Let's remind ourselves. You probably got it in the back of your head, but I do not. That's not it. This allows me to navigate, but I could do that anyway. Can I rotate it? Yes. Okay. So I had to activate it, go to this navigator. This is one way. And then I could rotate what's north. So basically now I'm kind of faced west a little bit. And doesn't really have to be exact, does it? Might say, why is he doing this? Just trying to think about laying out where I could visualize the watershed in one part of the panel and maybe have some other figures in the other. Okay, so there's my whole watershed. Okay, and good layout. Okay. So this is what I'm showing on there now is changed from, and you know what? This actually all needs to be smaller. So I want to do change from and change to beside each other. And I might want to see what the whole watershed looks like. Let's see. So you can always say exactly what you want in terms of scale. Okay, there's my watershed. Okay, that's map one. So now what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to copy all of these things that I might want. Do I want? Okay, let's be careful about this. So what I'm showing here is changed from. Okay, good. Now let's go back over here. We'll create a new map. And I'm gonna copy these things. change to. And go back to layout. Going to now I'm going to need to add in a couple more things. Add one. And then I can go to properties and I can link these two map frame extents, I think. So map frame 1, map frame 2, it's map background color now. Okay, hold on a second. So we go back into map 2. Somehow we have a transparency on here now. I guess we must have had it before, but the other one wasn't transparent. Okay, so there's that. If you don't want these little background things, you can go to dynamic text, and those things are called these service layer credits. You can actually put them offside, keep them away. Okay, so now properties. Okay, so if I go into my properties, no, multiple element, oh, clear. Constraint. So under properties in the second thing, we can say display a linked map frame extent of, that's not quite right, of map frame. Map frame 1. It looks rotated correctly. Coordinate system must be different. So if we go into map 2, look at its properties, coordinate system, 93, okay, good. And then we go to map 1. Was that different? Probably. Yeah. Still not quite looking right. Okay, so this was 650,000 and this one is a different scale. That if I go into properties again, Oh, center and scale. That was the problem. So clear, so I need to go map frame extent center and scale. Okay, so there we go. Now they're the same, except that I need to make this a little bit bigger. And yeah, pretty good. Good. If I wanted to get rid of this little bit here, but this is areas of change. And we could have another one which just had the land cover over the whole region or something like that, but it's not absolutely critical. Then what might we add on here? So the big changes, right, are shown here, but this is not looking too great because of scale, right? So it's hard in ArcGIS to like really customize some of these things. Like, how do you label all of these small things? Might be better just to show these. Um, let's see. So if we go to create chart and bar chart, for instance, probably not. So we say class. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So, and then so now that, can we change that? I'm not sure. Axes, labels. I don't know. Yeah, so in here, in general, we can say we can make this a little bit better. Area in square miles. And this chart title instead can be land, uh, so Spanish Fork Watershed, land cover change 2024 classes. Spanish Fork Watershed land covered, we're going to say 20 years of land cover change, 2024 classes. That's reasonable. Okay. Okay, cool. So now if I make this a little bit smaller, how does it look? And can I pop that out? By popping it out, I should be able to kind of then like can label the bars perhaps. But then I'll need it a little bit wider, okay, so we don't get overlap. And do I really want to say class? classes, land cover classes. Oops. So now this is can export this as a graphic, scalable vector graphic. Um, change to see how that works. Minimize that. So then potentially we can put in a dynamic picture. Is that not how we do it? Okay. So we can probably just copy and paste into there. Hmm. Capture to clipboard. Let's try this. Might have broken ArcGIS by copying it to clipboard. So this is one thing that becomes tricky in ArcGIS Pro is how do you make other aspects that aren't maps and add them to your layouts as kind of posters. They have functionality to do this in the program, but it can get a little bit clunky. Um, so it did allow me to do it ultimately, which then I can hopefully scale in a way that doesn't make it look too awful. And I don't think that's going to quite work, right? Because what I'm going to then want to do is like put that one below this one. Um, but they're kind of too small to read very well. It could work out. It's not going to be perfect. A better route might be to bring this into another program where you can actually probably take you could have like them right next to each other where the land cover area of changed barren land, what it was before and after, cultivated before and after, etc. In the same graphic, then we could cover up more space with it below these two. But as I've got it going right now, um, it's kind of maybe not perfect. Okay. Um, but you're gonna get the idea. So yeah, I could do this again for this other one. So if we go to changed from and go to create a bar chart. The histogram is really funky. Ideally, that might be something we'd use, but and here's another potential issue. So, okay, no, so they labeled the axis not ordered by grid code, right? But instead by class name in alphabetical order. So at least it's consistent. Um, and the colors are consistent. So this can work. See if I don't break it. Capture to clipboard. You have to wait a minute. And so then I'll paste that below. So then we can basically see what it's going from, what it's going to, right? And so it tells the story that where we've had change has been in the forested parts of the watershed. And it tells us by how much, and this is area in square miles, so it's not insignificant. You could have made these in areas of acres, depending on what your audience is. You want to use different units, perhaps. Now I'd go layout, paste. You want to get these kind of lined up, scaled so that they're kind of even with each other, something like that. Taking up similar amounts of area, kind of clear that they're related to the same things. And I didn't do everything right because I should have relabeled it just like I did in the previous one. And oh, I don't want that. Um, and then you do kind of you need to work on scaling the heights to be non, so they don't look out of whack. And that would be another reason to link them together on one chart. But you can see visually and quantitatively the changes that have taken place in this watershed. We would need to add in some other things. I would probably say that we want to create a new map. So let's go insert a new map. And I think in this one, we might want to just turn off all of that and go back to map one and grab the land cover over the whole region today. Okay, and then we'll need that watershed. And then we can go back to layout and we can create another map frame, which is this one. And we could change the order of these, of course, if we wanted to. Um, And then go to properties. I got to change the units on the map frame. And synchronize the rotation. Okay, so then this shows us like the land cover today. I'm not so sure. I think maybe it might be better to show the land cover in the past. Or maybe actually it might be cool to show both of these, right? So could make a fourth map where it's land cover today and the past. I'd probably move both of these to the other side of the graphic. So maybe grab all these, move them this way. And then this is today. I'm going to put that down here and I'm going to add a new map and going to pull in watershed polygon and old land cover. And then I'll pull in that map frame. Run out of space in our working area, but I think kind of see the idea that I was going for. So we need to probably up our we need to either make these smaller or we need to go to a different layout uh, height where we have a little bit more space. But this is land cover in 2004, land cover in 2024, areas that changed, and what they changed from, what they changed to. Then we got some quantification in here. We could add in a caption, can add in a title up here. So if I shrink them all similarly, so if I go to like, I'll have to make them maybe all 1 to 700,000 scale. I guess we'll start with this one. I'll link to that. And then they all shifted. A little more space. Be careful. Well, 700,000. These two are not in the same width as these. That's okay. Um, not displaying everything on all of these all of the time. I'm running up against some graphical issues on my computer. It's not going to matter in terms of the output, I don't think. But since I have some space here, please down, I can put my titles up there. These got a little annoyingly shifted. You're gonna have to forgive me on those because those aren't quite satisfying. Okay, so then could input a text box up here, which could be our title. So this is 20 years of land cover change in the Spanish Fork Watershed. And then we can make that bigger. Center it. And then we could put in some little subtitles if we wanted. Here we can call this 2004 land cover and LCD. Where did that go? Too big of a font. Yeah, I would use a bigger layout. Run into some issues here. And might need like a text box or something to deal with it. So I could just make it go below like that. And I could copy that, paste it. Hopefully. Copy and paste is really killing the program at the moment. But I think I'll stop it here because the program is getting a bit slow. It's going to make the video go on and on. Uh, but to produce a nice output graphic like I'm trying to do here, it really takes some time. You need to budget in, many times more than 1 hour per layout to make a really satisfying cartographic output that has all the elements. I'm trying to make sub kind of individual element labels. I would do that for each one. I need to correct my title. I need to add in my own name as an attribution of making this. I need to reference the data sources beyond NLCD, the official reference in some way. Need to date the completion date of the figure so it can be referenced. And I'm probably going to put in a caption for, why does this matter? Also kind of lead the reader or the audience through what the big takeaway is. And that's the kind of thing that you want to do for your labs. So I'll apologize that this video takes some time, but that's just the reality of making these figures. So I'm struggling right along with y'all. So I know it takes a lot of time. Please budget that in and plan accordingly. Okay, good job.